I mean, there's just no sound coming through at all, is there? Let me try and fix this very quickly. It's coming through the right place. Hi. Why don't I have game sounds? This... I understand that this was a thing, but then I fixed it, I thought. No, still nothing, right? Well, I'm sorry guys. We're just gonna have no game sounds here for this game. I don't know why this is happening over on my second screen. This is just something that's... I unplugged my capture card and I replugged it in, and it just broke things, so... I don't know what to tell you. I did it to try and fix like an audio sync issue, and it just broke everything apparently, so... I could try to unplug it and replug it, if it's bothering you guys. What do you think? Should we try and unplug and replug, or should we just go with it? What's your guys' thoughts? Anyways, this is Maru versus Stats. It's a best of 3 in the quarterfinals. We just got this started up here, so getting this underway as you do see the Reaper hopping in towards the main base. And obviously we'll be pretty much focusing on this series continuing forwards at the moment, because obviously it's a pretty sick series. It's not every day we get to try watch Maru. Okay, you guys want to watch it? Or you guys want to try it out? I am completely down to try it out. I can hear it's just very quiet. No, that's the sound on my current PC. You know what? I'm just going to try and unplug it and replug it while not a lot's happening in the game. You can hear it's very quiet? No, you can't hear it at all, honestly. Alright, let's try and go for an unplug and replug, guys. Unplug, everything's probably gone black. I can't see because I'm under the table. And a replug. Boom. Sound. Oh, the screen's just black. Uh-oh. Well, the game is back, but the audio just isn't. Huh. I mean, I can see the audio interface. It's just that the sound isn't going out to it. I mean, that's definitely where I want the sound to go to. Like, that's where I want the sound to. That's where the sound's meant to be going to. And it just isn't. Okay. There's not really much I can do about that right now, guys. So sorry for that. Really, really nothing I can do. I really don't know why this is happening. I need to restart the game. Well, we're not going to do that right now. Anyways, we do see Maru and Stats here getting going. Obviously, we have a Cloak Banshee on the map and a Raven as well, as Stats will go for a little bit of stalk pressure up into the main base. Guys, the music is coming from my main PC. I'm putting it on so it's not completely quiet. The other sound is not... There's just nothing coming through on this side. There's just nothing coming through at all. I just can't fix it right now. Anyways. Switch the sound device from game settings to default and back. Okay, that's the last thing I'm going to try. Nothing. I think we need to restart the game, and I'm not going to do it. So, Stats and Maru is it's only going to be a thing for game 1 as well. Game 2 will join on the main computer. But yeah, Stats and Maru, I mean, what a series, what a matchup. Legends. I mean, Stats was one of the players who was actually able to beat Maru at points of this year. Didn't happen a lot. It did happen in GSL vs. the World, of course. And also in a super tournament somewhere along the way. And as you do have the setup here at the moment, just getting this going. I mean, Maru dealt with that stalker pressure pretty decently so far. He had a little bit of aggression himself, but all in all, not much loss. Both players have been very good at keeping units alive, retaining units, and deflecting attacks. So neither player really allowing the other to be successful with any of their attempted moves. Maru, a 3-time GSL champion this year. I mean, a shock when he fell out in the round of 8 of BlizzCon 3-0 against SOS. But, I mean, his TvP was just so figured out in that series that it was A little bit of a shame to see. Stats obviously went all the way into the BlizzCon finals where he lost out to Serral. That was absolutely ridiculous as well, as we do see Maru pushing down from the top side, so he is in position on the third. There is units that were across the map, but I think they just got picked off. I'm not observing this game, guys. We're observing through someone else. Maru will find himself the third base, as we see the other units will get pushed away, so Maru finds that, and again across the map, yeah, there was a big chunk of Stalkers here, but those Widow Mines got good connections, and then with the Marauders behind it, they cleaned up. The third base has to be cancelled again here, and Stats is having some issues getting in towards the next base for himself. Anti-armor missile's going to hit all of the Adepts, and suddenly Maru, well, he might not go for this, but it's definitely going to stop Stats from jumping on the army, which he was maybe about to do with those Adepts. As we are going to be seeing stimming forwards here, Maru is going to force Stats to expand to the bottom side of the map instead now, which is a base that isn't taken right away for a reason. It's a little bit tougher to defend. It's more easy for the Terran to drop on the third than lift up and drop into the main, for example. So I much prefer the other base for Stats. Obviously, you can't take that one, though, because Maru's just put so much pressure onto it. And at some point, you just have to admit that and just take your third base, right? Like, you can't just sit without a third Nexus forever. So that's been going on here, as we do see Blink is about to finish up from Stats, and that will be something to help him out. Maru is pulled all the way back home with this army, and will be maybe moving out to see what he can do against this army as well, because Stats is pushing. Upgrades are 1-1 apiece. Stats has not gone into 2-2. We'll drop a second facility and Robobay, though, which means he wants to switch in towards a little bit more either, well, Colossus or Disruptors. Choice is open to him, as we see the first couple of shots going off from those Widow Mines. Doing a great job, man. Those Adepts are just not going to stand up to anything, and especially with an anti-armor missile on them, they are going to absolutely melt. One of the good things about Adepts is how tanky they are. If they have their armor taken away, I mean, they don't have a lot of armor, but getting the armor taken away means that they're even less tanky and they're just less effective than they ever should be. So Maru's just going to be happy to deal with these, apparently, with his reinforcements. These Adepts are getting quite a few kills, in fairness, but obviously Maru realizes that there's just no army left over because he won this fight so convincingly in the middle of the map. And we are going to see the Bio just continue to press forwards. Robo Facility goes down, and everything else going to get picked off as well. Yeah, I mean, okay. There's just no saving this situation. Maru is just in too good a spot. GG. Maru picks up game number 1. In for a quick little break. Sub Hard Revenge, thank you so much for the 4-month resub. Someone told me my clothes look gay, so I told them they came out of my closet today. The jokes just never stop coming today. Thank you so much for the 4-month resub, as we have the top left-hand side down a map. Our Red Protoss player from Splice, it is Stats, up against the legend himself from Jin Air Green Wings, the Blue Terran player Maru, in the bottom right side of Port Alexander for this next game of this best of 3. I'm trying to reset my PC and stuff, and my laptop and stuff, and get that fixed, just in case we do jump into other games later, guys. So again, bit of a weird situation. It doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sound, but I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I think the sound was just dead. Like, I don't know. We'll try and get it fixed anyways. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not the end of the world. It would be nice to get it fixed up, wouldn't it? Anyways, for now, we're in Maru's stats, and obviously we don't really have to worry about too much else. And we can just focus on this. Any other games are just a bonus anyways, so we can just focus up on this TvP and see what's going to happen, how the players are going to play this one out. I'm excited to see, actually, how these guys are going to go about this. I mean, in the last game, Maru really just looked very good from the early stages, right? Like, he was in control early on, and he just never let that kind of slip away from him. Opens this game, if they're not actual proxied racks, but the kind of the hidden away racks, which will then just float back home. Factory comes up nice and quick for the delayed command center, but he will get the nice fast cyclones coming out. But Stats will go into a Stargate to go into this, and we'll be able to go in towards... I mean, quite often the Phoenix opening is the way to kind of play this out lately, with the ability to kind of lift up Cyclones and all the strengths that they have against Cyclones as Phoenix. We see that quite a lot. Reaper here having a little bit of a fight with the Adept. Magfield Accelerator coming out, and again, just this Reaper kind of coming around over to the left-hand side. Just keeping itself alive there, keeping itself in play. So doing a pretty good job of that, honestly. Not a bad effort at all. Maru keeping us up, and the longer he has it up, the more of a frustration and annoyance it can be. Sometimes leading into fights and so on, and kind of taking a couple of hits and keeping other units alive. It was Oracle first out of stats, but he does follow up very quickly with those Phoenix. And Oracle does get used there just to defend and deflect the first move forwards of the Reapers. The Reaper finally going down. Even that is nice, keeping the Oracle, or forcing the Oracle to stay at home because of the Reaper. It's, you know, it means the Oracle isn't over here potentially dealing damage. Magfield Accelerator about to be done. It's going to be a medevac with a couple of Cyclones that are potentially going to go across the map and really try and get something done here, I'd guess, but well, we'll see how that turns out. As we do have the game just getting established. So I'm just trying to figure out what other matchup's going to be going on. What we can maybe jump into. I think we'll probably look to jump into the Beyond matchup. If it becomes available. Or so. Okay. So just trying to multitask. I'm also kind of worried why my laptop still isn't making noises. Cyclones coming across the map with Marines and SCVs as well. A couple of Widow Mines joined up with this medevac. Going to be heading across the far left-hand side. Did you see the Cyclones there for a moment? Just locking on. And again, just going to be seeing a few Phoenix continuing across this left-hand side. Cyclones, Marines, SCVs gathering up together. And, well, Cyclones do lock on towards those Adepts to get started. I mean, the Widow Mines are the ones that get lifted up by the Phoenix, which I feel is actually kind of interesting. Liberator will siege up too. The Cyclones still kind of just left alive here. The Widow Mines will burrow and get lifted up again. I mean, the Revelation means they can be lifted at any stage. Maru will just lift up one Cyclone and start to bring that back, but Phoenix will be able to chase for the kills. Interesting little push. The Widow Mine is actually going to get a Phoenix kill here as well. I mean, Maru loses a lot of army, and so maybe stats and counterattacks will become a thing, but a few moments there, that was, again, a very interesting little way of getting this going. Fortunate Twilight Council coming down from stats, so he's getting that ready to go as we see the few Phoenix coming up to the top. Let's see view of Maru just jumping over towards the main base as well, and we do see those probes from stats just coming over to start mining on his own third base, which is up and rolling. Maru's just getting into his free racks, so able to start now really applying some more pressure with the medevacs out soon, and that bio style. Just going to be setting up over the next couple of minutes, but the biggest issue at the moment, the lack of a third CC, I would say. And it doesn't look as though there's really an answer to that or anything being done about that anytime soon. One more upgrade still coming in here, as we see the Blink also being Chrono boosted, so Stat's just going to get all of this now that he's up to 3 bases, start going for the setup. Combat Shields and Sim will be finishing shortly from Maru, as we see. He does go into the 4th and 5th racks before the 3rd CC. Now he does put the 3rd CC down, but with the 4th and 5th racks coming in before the 3rd CC, it is a little bit suggestive that we might be seeing a very strong kind of committed push from Maru to kind of apply a lot of pressure before continuing on, as we are going to be seeing the Phoenix just looking for information, trying to catch anything moving onto the map. Stats, without fear, just goes and drops a 4th base. Like, he just doesn't care right now. Up 14 workers, dropping a 4th base. That does sort of concern me, because, I mean, there is a 5 rack setup from Maru, right? He has a lot of unit production. And while he does, yes, have a 3rd base on the way, this just feels like Minerals which Stats doesn't need to invest into another Nexus at the moment. Like, this could just be anything else. Extra units, etc. So Stats being very greedy. Yes, if he gets away with it, perfect. He's going to get very far ahead. I don't think anyone's going to doubt that, but it feels very punishable with how Maru is set up, and especially because those Phoenix have seen so much. They've seen there's no 3rd base being taken, right? They've seen a 4th Rex added on pretty quick, and the timing of it, I mean, obviously Stats still feels like he can hold on, and maybe that is true. mean, that's what we're about to find out as, well, Bjorn gets ready to go. I mean, the Widowmine's the bio coming across. A stream of SCVs also moving down to the third base, actually. For a moment, it looked like they were maybe coming across the map. And this army of stats, it's 1-1 upgrade, so a little bit of an advantage there. Widowmine's starting to get burrowed as the Phoenix will just lift up the first few Marauders. Zealots don't have charge, so Zealots are actually pretty, well, not as useful as you might usually expect them to be. Phoenix get taken down by Widowmines. He targets down the Immortal. Now these Stalkers are going to have to start blinking backwards. Another few Zealots come in, but again, without charge, these Zealots are nowhere near the kind of units which we expect them to be a lot of the time. As Maru stims in a few extra Marauders, and again, with only Stalkers left over, stats will start to have a little bit of trouble, but not too much, and that blink was a little bit scuffed. And he does not manage to pick off the medevac with it. Just wasn't quite a clean blink. He kind of blinked and ran around a little bit rather than blink and fire to pick off the medevac instantly. The Stalkers all going to be arriving down on towards that third base. We see a warping in the main. Maru with the Marines will get the warp prism and then save the Marines through the medevac. This third CC now under quite a lot of pressure as Stats just pushes in. And Stats might be able to make this work as the third orbital is going to have to be repaired, but it will go down. And that might just be the point at which Maru has lost a little bit too much himself now, because he's also going to be losing SCVs. And now it's going to be tough for him to have enough of an army to push across the map with again, especially considering Stats is about to go up to a 2-2 lead. Maru's bio units coming out into the middle. Stalkers coming up here. See as Marauders continue to fight, and a couple of Stalkers getting taken down. Whole bunch of SCVs being pulled across the map. Maru in a last-ditched attempt to try and get something done. We've seen Immortal taking a couple shots. Widowmines get burrowed once more, and well, they go off on an Immortal. That's quite nice, actually. Zealots will be under fire here from the mines too. The SCVs will try and get in front. Another stim from Maru. Again, trying his best to make this work out. We'll target down the Guardian Shield, but it doesn't work. I mean, GG's. Stats will take game number. Plus side, we fixed the sounds, which is actually kind of nice, so I figured out what the issue was. Yay, go us. Right, the fix down. Oh, it's actually not that it's not that complicated. I'm just really dumb. I forgot that when I tried to fix it the first time, I replaced the sound file in XSplit. And when you add the audio in XSplit, it's set to only play out on stream rather than to my whole audio. But playing out to stream only doesn't actually work very well compared to playing it out to your whole audio. So basically, I just needed to turn on to click a button. Honestly, if it ever happens again, I would know how to do it instantly. It's it was a really stupid thing, and when I thought of it, I was like, oh my god, that's so obvious that it might just work. Alright. My bad, guys, my bad. Alright, let's do this to the bottom left-hand side. Maru is our blue Terran player, but uh-oh, his proxy Rax is going to be insta-scouted by Stats, but scouted so fast that maybe Maru just gives up on it. Stats is our right brawler's top right-hand side. Yeah, boom, cancels it instantly, builds it at home instead. Yes, it's delayed, but it's workable. It's workable. And so we get this ready to roll. Engineering Bay dropping down on the natural. Engineering Bay is kind of nice because it actually forces Stats to throw the Nexus down on the third base instead. So Engineering Bay block pretty cute here, and it does cause a little bit of disruption in what Stats was aiming to do. We see that Cybernetics core is going to be finishing up in the main base. And I mean, obviously an actual expansion which comes down on the third base is so much more exposed. There's some real opportunity for Maru to do some stuff here, as we see him immediately goes into a factory. I imagine this time, because the racks is at home, you'll build the tech lab on the racks, and then you can swap that factory straight onto the tech lab and really just speed up the rate at which the Cyclones come out. The faster you get the Cyclones out here, the better it's going to be for applying pressure to that Nexus, which you forced out of position. So getting this going now, obviously Maru just cancels that Engineering Bay to get his minerals back. The sooner he gets those minerals back, the sooner you can spend them on other things, so that obviously also makes quite a lot of sense, as we see an SCV going to pop up in towards the main base. It gets taken down by a Stalker, which has just popped out here. And that probe moving forwards. Twilight Council going to be finishing in a few moments' time. And again, Pylon just set off to the side. Adept comes in towards the main as an SCV gets picked off. And Adept just going to be shading over here to try and do a little bit more. Maru actually having to pull SCVs against this. Letting this up into the main was obviously the initial mistake. And will lose another Marine as he gets the kill on it. Cyclone on the way, but no Macfield Accelerator. Instead opting for the starport, but that's information stats gains. And so he knows what he's playing against, and he'll know not to worry about Cyclones so much this time around. Yes, they can still be effective, but without Magfield, they're not going to do anywhere near the same amount of damage. And so instead, he'll prepare for whatever might come from the starport. And what might come from the starport? I mean, we've been seeing a lot of Cloak Banshee play out of Terran players lately. And it looks like Cloak Banshees will be the go-to once again here from Maru, who's trying to resurrect his position in this game after that pretty messed up start for him. He's going to throw down a third CC very quickly to try and play recovery, so let's see if it'll work out. As Cyclone will just show up onto the third base, locks onto a probe, kills another, or at least pushes it back, doesn't quite get the kill. Still no natural here from Stats, I guess. That will come down sooner rather than later though, especially if Stats knew there's a third CC from Maru on the way. I don't think he'd be delaying all that much in terms of getting the third base up. Robo Facility about to finish, and as Blink is being chronoed, you do wonder if Stats maybe intends to apply some pressure with these Blink Stalkers and what he could get done with them. He has 5 on the map with triple gateway. Sorry, he only has 2 gates, so okay, it won't be that much pressure then. Because then he can't add on that many more Stalkers. And yeah, obviously he might go onto the map, but shouldn't be that crazy. We'll see the shield battery saves the Stalker. The Cyclone was trying to kite away, but got surrounded by Stalkers that were already out on the map as well. And Stats already benefiting from just having units in different positions spread around. And there is his choice of play. The double forge dropping down, going into those double upgrades here. So going straight towards those double upgrades. Meanwhile, we have that siege tank set up on the natural to the top left-hand side. The Banshee moving across as well is going to be coming through. And is going to be heading towards the main base. Both of those forges is about to finish, and again the gateways also going to be wrapping up themselves. Banshee going to cloak up immediately. An Observer and a couple Stalkers will force Maru to turn away with that, so no luck with the initial Banshee. Banshee number 2 is coming down the south side, and we might see the first Banshee go and kind of team up with that one. Come across here. 4 extra barracks coming out on this main base as Maru gets fully set up into his bio switch in the next few moments. Banshee's still spread up. Especially there's not really much defense on this third base. Maru not going to test his luck too much though, and he will see it on the natural. But he has a pretty decent opportunity to get some damage. He'll know the Observer isn't here just yet. So he actually gets quite a few probe kills. That goes, I think that's about 4 kills. Yeah, 4 kills on the Banshee. And he's about to run out of energy. He doesn't really know where to go for the best. I mean, there isn't really a good answer. So he does just lose the Banshee, but well, 5 kills in total. It's not brilliant, but one of the Banshees still alive, and still some opportunities here to get a little bit more done. Mortal on the way out of the Robo Facility is the charge upgrade also about to complete over on the Twilight Council. And there's a couple more gateways continue to come down. Another warp gate just morphing into. And this Banshee of Maru coming all the way up to the top side. Going to get ready to push across in towards the main over the next few moments. Going to see a pylon added on as well. And again, concussive shell is on the way up. Combat shields on the way up. Maru's third CC floating out into position. I mean, Stats already has his 4th base on the way up though as Maru's third gets ready to land. But Maru's economy is pretty okay. I mean, 53 to 58 work is not bad. It's definitely got potential here. Shield batteries and mineral lines mean that this Banshee had to go really kind of hunting quite far to find something. And you will get 3 probes here. Ooh, nope. Missed target fires. Maru makes mistakes as well, guys. Who would have known? Banshee goes down. Again, I mean, he really tried to find as much as he could with those Banshees, but Stats' defense was pretty on point. At no point was he ever caught off guard without a Observer or anything like that. It was just that one time that the Banshee got on the natural, so good defense by Stats. He comes in, he gets 1 medevac already. Maru a little bit late to stim some units ahead to kind of push those Stalkers away. Zealots do have charge set up as well. Couple Widow Mines in play here. The first one very late to burrow, which means the Stalkers will target it down pretty quickly. Next Widow Mine is going to go off, but well, they don't do too much. The next one actually hits a few of the Zealots, which is nice. Another huge warping of Zealots already. Those 9 gateways up or so here. There's actually 10 gates up on the map. Maru instantly realizing he can't stick around, so he just starts to back away from this right away. As we do see the observer stats still just overhead, keeping track of what's going on. These units spreading up a little bit. Maru going to be, well, still trying to fight this when the warpins aren't nearby a set, when his own reinforcements are here. Interesting little bit back and forth, but there's the reinforcements coming in from the warp prism. That's going to run into the natural, and Maru doesn't have anything to deal with that right away. And sieges the tank and burrows the Widow Mines, and off he goes back towards his natural expansion. At the same time, Stats will move out with the main army, probably to head towards that third base. As Widow Mines can get a little bit of splash damage initially to start softening up the Zealots for the bio units to come through into play cleanup. Widow Mines in the front of this third base, though, are already in some trouble. With Siege Tank here to help, some biostims around to try and help out. Still a little bit left to deal with those Zealots, as the Zealots charging in as well from the right-hand side. Stats seems to have quite a lot at the moment. As the force field comes down, the SCVs will be blocked. Now the SCVs will turn to try and fight this as well. The Marauders don't really have the damage output to deal with this many Zealots, and more Zealots come in from the top side. That War Prism being extremely useful at the moment. That's what started this off, and that's what will keep this going as well. A lot of money in the bank for Stats. He'll warp in just more Zealots again, though. Doesn't feel like he needs anything else just yet, as Maru will try and defend on the natural. Widow Mine gets picked off. Maru pulling back a little bit further. Just coming over in the third CC, has to lift up. Maru losing SCVs as he runs away from this position. Maru is down and hurting. With sentries warped in to add some force fields in, I mean, this is just going to be really, really tough. He's also down a set of upgrades as well going into this. The Widow Mines do a good job on the first Zealots, though. Stats just runs in towards this natural. And the army supply is there for Maru. He's moments away from +2 attack. He's trying to wait as long as possible. But he's losing supply depots. Now his production is halted because he's supply blocked. This doesn't get any better for Maru now. He's going to have to lift this CC and just pull everything in and just go for this. He's trying to pull the Widow Mines back. Maybe he's waiting for Stats to run into the Widow Mines. But the thing is, Stats is allowed to wait. He has time, you know, just waiting for him here. As you see, the Zealots on the top side are not going to have a good trade. They're just running in to a huge choke point, and here we go, the big split now from Maru. A couple of units getting dropped down from a medevac. He is basically out of energy on his medevacs as well. All of the SCVs going down. The army will still not really be able to push through. He does an okay-ish job cleaning up the Zealots and so on, but he loses the natural expansion. He loses everything else, and Stats will take down Maru in the round of 8. Maru eliminated before he even reaches the prize money in his first ever Kung Fu Cup.